All right, YouTube, what is up? So this is a lower body speed, strength, and power session. So starting off at the field with some speed work. So here, doing some rhythmic A series drills. So these are great drills. One to warm you up, but two to really work on your front side mechanics of sprinting. So really working on driving that knee up, pulling that toe towards the shin, and having that piston-like leg action, as you can see here. So when I'm doing these drills, starting with a single switch, going into a double switch, and then a triple switch, really trying to have that piston leg action, meaning popping those thighs past each other in midair, trying to pull that toe towards the shin and landing with a nice flat foot, and then trying to drive that knee, that hip height. Really just trying to work on that rhythm, work on those mechanics, warm me up as I get into my accelerations later in the workout. But definitely a good thing to do if you're working on those speed mechanics. Next drill is a straight leg bound into a sprint. So just nice straight legs for 15 yards, trying to reach with each step into about an 80% sprint, kind of last warm up before I get into the maximal sprints here. So today did 6 20-yard sprints and 4 30-yard sprints. With these sprints, it's max intensity. It's as hard as humanly possible. With sprinting now, rest is so key. So for every 10 yards you sprint, you want to rest at least a minute. So if I'm sprinting 20 yards, I want to rest 2 minutes in between sets. 30 yards, 3 minutes in between sets. If you're not used to that, it's a lot of time resting, and that's good. That's a good speed program. I mean, 90% of the time you're out there, you should be spent just standing there. It gets a little boring, but that ensures you get max intensity out there on the field and make sure you get those sprints in. Remember, we're sprinting for max speed. We're not conditioning, so it's not about getting your heart rate up. It's not about sweating. It's about max intensity, so a lot of standing around and ensure you can get that. Next thing we headed into the gym and did these combo jumps, which are super fun. So really just working on that vertical jump into a horizontal jump. Goal here is trying to land that vertical jump and as quickly as possible get into that broad jump, working on that quick ground contact time. Then got some Olympic lifting. So here I'm doing kind of a clean variation. I'm doing a power clean on that first rep and then a full clean on that second rep. Power clean, difference between the two is power clean, you're just catching above that squat position, and a full clean, you're catching in that squat position. So here, I'm really trying to work on my catch, keeping that bar close and not letting it crash on me. So did 3 sets there, kind of working up in weight, and then finished with 3 singles of just a full clean. There I got 308, 3 plates on the side for that single there. It was a decent rep. Next, we got into some squatting. So squat's been doing this fun rep progression, which is called a descending pyramid. Essentially, you're going down in reps as you go up in weight. So I was doing a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, my legs had other plans. I didn't actually hit all those numbers. I ended up just doing 5, 4, 2, 1 as the first 2 sets. Here's 455 for 5. This absolutely buried me. And then I didn't record the second set, 465 for 4. Those first 2 sets just kind of buried me. The legs were a little fried after that. You'll see in the next video, I did 480. The goal was 3 there. Ended up barely getting 2. But, sometimes you live to fight another day. Put the intensity in. Sometimes you don't always hit your numbers, which is fine. Yeah, it can be frustrating for a second, but as long as you're working hard, training hard, and you put the effort in, then you can live with that. So 481 it for 3 here, but as you see in the second round, I barely got 2, almost folded right there. So that was my second to last set, and then I just finished with a single at 495 for the day, which didn't record, but I was probably in that middle position for about 10 seconds. Barely got it up, but I got it up, so it was good. Good win for the day. Good way to finish the squats. Next, we got into some heavy single leg movements. So I've been liking these barbell reverse lunges here. So really just trying to reach back, get a big lunge there. Now, I think a reverse lunge is a movement people typically go a little lighter on. I think like any accessory movement, go as heavy as you can. I mean, here I'm doing 5, 4, 3, 3 sets. So again, kind of descending pyramid, going down in reps, up in weight each set. This is my set of 4 with 325. But a reverse lunge, as long as you got that stability down, it might take the first couple of times to really get comfortable in it, but you can start loading up and you can probably go a lot heavier than you think on these. So really reaching back, trying to just have that knee kiss the ground, not trying to crash on the ground, just kiss the ground, come back up, and go from there. Next thing we got into some accessories. So I love a good glute ham raise. So here, doing 4 sets of glute ham raises. Kind of move the pad up a little closer this time, so my knees are a little higher up. So the closer you are to the pad, the harder it's going to be. Moved it up 1 notch for this week. I'm hugging a medicine ball here. The medicine ball is nice. If you can start adding weight to these, I'd recommend a medicine ball over a plate, because I don't know about you, when I come up on these, I'm like, squeeze the heck out of that ball. I'm so tense on it. And when I have a plate, it's like I can't really squeeze the life out of it. So med ball is a little nice alternative. Added some weight there, kind of pulls you down, but also on the way up, you can really squeeze it and get that full rep. Went from that, did 4 sets there, and then superset that with a quad extension. So this is a cool leg extension where it's a plate loaded one. So really here, just a big drive up, trying to nice straight legs, and then a 3-second lower on the way down, trying to nice and controlled. These did end up doing 3 sets of about 12 reps. This was the first set. On the last set, I ended up doing a rest pause method where I went to failure, failed at 13, rested 20 seconds, and then banged out as many extra reps as I could. I like throwing those rest pauses in for each muscle group like once a week. Super fun to do. Those extended sets going beyond failure, but really saving those for your last sets or of the day for a certain muscle group. And then finish the session up with some calf raises here. So love this variation of this calf raise on the pitch shark. Really get a big stretch there, so holding on to something. With the calf raise, really try to get a big stretch at that bottom position. So think about trying to drive those heels to the ground as well as coming up on the toes. So the peak contractions be at the top where you're driving up on those toes, but that stretch at the bottom when you bring that heels to the ground, that's where you're getting that full range of motion, really working your calf. And as always with calf raises, kind of drop your pride here. Don't go too heavy, work on that full range of motion, get the most out of it, most bang for your buck. And if you don't have a pitch shark, standing calf raise, seated calf raise, single dumbbell calf raise, you can use any sort of variation there. Whatever you can do to work on those calves and just work through that full range of motion, bring the heel to the ground, up on that toe. And then finished supersetted with some toes to bar. My favorite ab exercise, love this movement. So I always put a bar behind my back to kind of take the grip and hip flexors as a limiting factor up, but also makes it more strict, takes away that swing. So I'm just grabbing onto a pull-up bar there. Really trying to bring my toes to the bar and going to failure.
All right. Thanks for watching the video. So that was a lower body speed power strength session. So kind of how that's ordered throughout the session. You're starting with your speed, with your sprints, going into your power work with the jumps and the cleans, going into your strength work with the squats and the reverse lunges, and then finishing with some accessory work, some hypertrophy work with these glute ham raises, leg extensions, and calf raises. So big thing I just want to highlight with that session is the importance of intensity and rest. So especially when you're trying to get faster, trying to get more powerful, intensity is gonna be your number one factor. So when you're thinking about max intensity, you're thinking if you were to knock someone out with one punch, you want to go and punch them at 60%, you want to punch them at 80%, you would punch them as hard as possible at 100%. So you got to treat every rep of a sprint, of a jump like that in order to make sure you're getting that full intensity on each rep to get faster and more powerful. So with that also requires a lot of rest in between. So as I mentioned kind of earlier in the video, for every 10 yards you sprint, you want to rest at least 1 minute. Meaning if you're sprinting 20 yards, 2 minutes, 30 yards, 3 minutes, 40 yards, 4 minutes in between. Now it's a lot of standing around, and that's good. That's what you want. If you're doing a sprinting session, there's gonna be 90% of you are probably just standing there, which is perfectly fine because that allows you to get max intensity as hard as possible, take that full time to recharge, and able to do that again. As again, we're not doing conditioning here. We're trying to get faster. We're trying to elicit those max speeds here. So that's super important with that intensity and that rest to ensure that you get faster and stronger. But as always, guys, give this session a shot. Let me know in the comments what you're looking for, and you can follow me on Instagram at Shannon Performance. And I look forward to consistently uploading.